Alrighty, it's time to talk insurance. We got the folks from Bryan Insurance here. That's probably why. And what's happening?
Well, we discovered this morning that we're tired from creating data.
Is that it?
90% in the last 2 years.
90% in the last 2 years, so that's why everybody's so busy.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about our Epic servers and you mentioned that. I was like, great.
Yeah.
Data. Speaking of data,
Yeah.
basically we were going to talk about this last week, but didn't happen.
Didn't get in here.
So if you bought your significant other something very pretty this past Valentine's Day, and it's expensive and it's very precious.
I bought somebody a dozen eggs.
No kidding.
We can't insure that. It's
Yeah.
way
Okay,
too high.
good.
That's uninsurable.
There are
at the
some
moment.
things that are just uninsurable. Yeah. So yeah, if you bought or received Valentine's gift, say maybe some jewelry or maybe some art.
Art. That's a good
gun.
one.
A gun, yeah. There are some types of items that on the standard homeowners policy are either not covered or they're very limited. And so there's a better way to cover the type of things that we're talking about.
Right.
So again, we're talking about jewelry,
Fine
art, guns, silverware. There's a few other things, but the jewelry and the art are the two biggest ones.
Right, and especially after this past Valentine's Day, if you happen to receive this or if you happen to purchase one of these items, there are limitations on your standard homeowner policies for these items. So don't just think, oh, I bought that $10,000 ring or necklace, bracelet, whatever, purse.
There you go. Except you can't schedule those.
Oh, that's true.
Anyway, well.
So these are things that you need to contact your agent and discuss them with them, because the worst thing to happen is if it just kind of slightly disappeared. If it walked off, you need to know what limits you have. So
The good thing about it, when you schedule, we call it schedule. It's when you have they call them special, can't say it now, SPP policy, special personal property is the word. There's these policies where you actually schedule these items, you list these items. So instead of just saying I have contents in my house of $100,000, no, it's I have this watch or this tennis bracelet and it's been appraised and this is what it's worth, or here's the receipt, this is what we paid for it. And then that item, you have a record that you have the item, you have a record of its value, it's scheduled on your policy. And most of the time when it's scheduled on your policy, it's covered anywhere in the world.
right.
And most of the time it is covered for almost anything that could happen to
Almost.
it. Yeah. So these collections, they're valuable. Now we're not talking about necessarily Valentine's Day presents anymore, but the collections are valuable, but they also take a lot of time to put together, and so these people I've been hearing the ads on the radio station about this Caldecott, award, and somebody has a collection of every winner of that.
Right.
Of that, and that they took the time. It cost money to put that together, but it also took time, and so that things like that can be insured various ways, but you need to talk to your agent about it. Like Brad said, give them a call. If you received this last week, 2 weeks ago, you need to call them today and just find out what it would cost to schedule it. It's not going to cost you very much.
Right. And some homeowner policies out there, they'll extremely limit the amount that you can cover without the scheduling portion. So let's say if you have that ring, it's $4,000, you lose it, you try to claim it, they'll have a limit on there, let's say $1,000, because what they want you to do is they want you to schedule it. They want to know it's there. They don't want to just be surprised. So to prevent adverse selection and all that, they put a strong limit on there.
Right.
So be aware of that.
And one of the big ones is what we have scheduled. We don't have jewelry scheduled. We have guns scheduled. And when I decided to do that was during the PK fires, because we kept having to move stuff out of the house. It was just a long story. We had to keep moving all the valuables out of the house, the guns and the autographed baseball cards, which was pretty much our only valuables that we had at the house besides our kids. But no, seriously though, it's a good way to cover those items. It's not going to cost you much, and then you don't have to worry about it if something happens.
Well, that's the thing, is you got to ask questions. You don't want to have to be worried about this kind of stuff. I mean, things like rings and guns and things like this, like Brad said, could either be lost, walk away, who knows what the case is. I mean, how many times have people went into like public restrooms, took off rings to wash their hands and then not put them back on?
Yeah.
Or or left them someplace, or whatever the case is. You want to make sure that your insurance company knows exactly what they're dealing with.
Yeah, and Rick just inadvertently brought up a great coverage issue. If you do that, if you take your rings off to wash them, and you leave them, then you lost them, and that's not standard homeowners policy. It wouldn't be covered. If it was scheduled, it would be. Now, if you went right back and to look for them and they were gone, then they were hopefully stolen. And sometimes it's just how you framed the claim. But but if you had it scheduled, it wouldn't matter. If you lost them, it would be covered.
Okay, I noticed, and this will be the last thing I need to ask you guys about. I noticed I always say Halloween when I think of it, I say Valentine's. But
Well, it's all about candy.
I know.
Yeah.
But for Valentine's, I saw a lot of people were buying cell phones for people. Is that also covered?
That
Not.
falls under electronics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just different.
So it's different.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So I wasn't sure about that question.
So that's a thing. That was people buying cell phones for the Valentine's gift.
yeah.
That was a lot of that being done.
Yeah. I was
That's
interested.
interesting.
Yeah, it was one of, like in the top 3 gifts bought this last year.
I mean, that is an expensive gift.
Yeah, a lot going on there. Okay, how do folks get a hold of you guys?
You can call us at 940-549-2525 or visit us on the second floor Sierra Bank Building.
If you are over in Parker County, over in Hudson Oaks, we're at 2950 Fort Worth Highway, Suite 500. That phone number is 817-770-0096.
Visit us online at brianins.com. That's Brian with a Y.
Ron with a mic. All right, we got a couple of great